non-agenda item, Mr. Lyons.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to oppose this motion. I think the actions that we took earlier to support a resolution was very important because it helps identify where funding might come from in order to proceed with establishing a policy and paying out hazard pay to our first responders. What bothers me about this is that it's not really following a process. As Councilmember Farasati should understand that something like this as a policy discussion should first be reviewed by staff and assigned to the appropriate standing committee for review and discussion. And that's where I think that this would belong. All we've seen so far from Council Members Farasati and Hamblin is a 5-sentence email that went to media that really provided no detailed description nor any kind of draft legislation that we should consider. As I reference back to the resolution that we just voted on a while ago, that resolution was put together by staff with discussion. I credit Councilmember Healy for raising that, and that resulted in some legislation being drafted that was at a state that this council as a whole could consider. At this point, there is nothing to consider. And at best, although I support conceptually the idea of discussing hazard pay, we're in a budget crisis right now, and to actually go forward and I don't know what we would actually do here is what the discussion would be. We'd vote on hazard pay without determining how much money we're talking about, who actually would benefit from this. It's a non-budget item, so there are legal ramifications here and how we could potentially vote on something like this without potentially having a public hearing on adding money to our current 2020 budget and so on. So I'm opposed to this motion. I think it is premature. It needs to be better defined and possibly assigned to a committee that could look at this as a general policy that might apply to other crises that go beyond the coronavirus pandemic right now, and potentially policy could define what criteria such cases where hazard pay could potentially be paid out to anyone in the city that might be affected by that. So I'm going to oppose the motion. Thank you.
I would just remind the council members that this falls under compensation. That is the responsibility of the city manager. I think we all have stated we support the first responders, all first responders, not just fire and police, but all first responders out there. But we're talking about something that is the responsibility of our city manager, and that's where this falls. And if he'd like to bring it up through a committee, that would be fine. Further discussion.